Hello everyone! Now that a bunch of you have started getting the Fat Shark Shark Byte HD digital FPV system, I figured it was probably about time that I updated the FPV frequency chart again. So of course I thought this would be the usual simple process, and I actually started doing it this way until I figured out that it wasn't quite as interesting as I thought. So I opened the file as I normally would, and I created a bunch of space. I moved things around. I picked a new color for this new frequency band and everything. I put some labels on it, and I got to the point where I was looking up the actual frequencies in the Fat Shark Shark Byte manual. So I went over here, I've got the manual, and I looked up channel number 1, and I saw that it was 5660. Okay, great. Come down here to the chart and, oh, the DJI FPV systems channel 1 is 5660. That's interesting. Channel 2 is 5695, 5695. And just like that, down on the line, channel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are all exactly the same. And channel 8, 5839, 5839. Channel 6, channel 7, every single channel on here for the Fat Shark Shark Byte system is absolutely identical to what it is on the DJI system. They even have that odd ordering where channel 8, 6, and 7 are not like in order of the frequency, which is kind of weird, but I'll go into that a bit later. I've got some theories as to why that may be. So at this point, when I was trying to work on this updated chart, I remembered a conversation that I had on RC Groups, a little bit of a back and forth with, I think it's Greg from Fat Shark. And this was, I think, October of last year. And it turns out that, for better or worse, I may have had some tiny influence over the fact that Shark Byte is now using the exact same channels as the DJI FPV system. So way back when I was updating the chart and adding Fat Shark's previous alpha or beta versions of their HD system, which was actually called Bifrost at the time, that system had some low quality and high quality modes, and there was a confusing number of channels, as you can see. And the Bifrost is down here in this sort of pink area. And there's the high quality up on the top and the low quality on the bottom. And it was just kind of a confusing mess of channels for everybody to understand. So at the time, I suggested to Fat Shark that it would be nice if they were a little bit more consistent with their channel numbering. And Fat Shark replied that maybe they should match what DJI is doing. Which, the more you think about it, it does make some sense. It would mean that once race timers are all set up to have those specific channels for Bifrost or Shark Byte, sorry, I'm going to get those two confused probably all over the place in this video. Once race timers have their frequencies configured right so that they can match the DJI FPV system and they can match the Shark Byte system, that'll just be one set of frequencies that'll work great for both the HD channel setups. And so it also means that if you go out and fly and you have the DJI system and you're flying with a friend who's got the Shark Byte system, you don't even need a chart like this one that I'm working on, because you know if you're on DJI channel number 1, that's the same thing as the Shark Byte channel number 1. So it's pretty easy for you to make sure that you're on different channels and not causing too much interference with each other. So after looking at it a little bit more, I think I understand a little bit better why DJI chose the channel layout that they did. And if you look really close, you can see that these channels here in the middle, channel 3, 4, 5, and 8, are a little bit different, spaced out a little bit different than channels 1 and 2 and 6 and 7. 6 and 7 are kind of pushed over to the left side, channel 1 and 2 are kind of pushed over to the right side, with a little bit bigger of a gap here between channel 2 and 3, and a little bit bigger gap between channel 6 and channel 8. And I think that this is because these 4 channels in the middle, 3, 4, 5, and 8, are spaced out equally within the license-free ISM band of 5.8 gigahertz. and that these are the 4 channels that are FCC Part 15 certified for the DJI system, which means that you can fly DJI on these channels without needing a ham license. The other 4 channels, channel 1, 2, 6, and 7, at the ends, require you to have a ham license to fly them. And they're kind of spaced out in their own little spaces at the outer ends to push them as far away as possible from interfering with those other 4 channels in the middle that are FCC Part 15 certified. And they're spaced out within the rest of the FCC allocation for amateur use, which you can see is defined here by these red dashed lines on either end. And it is still a little bit weird that channel 8 here is out of order, so 5, 8, 6, 7. But I think DJI just wanted to do that so that when you're going through the channel list in the goggles, that the very last channel is the one that is the default. It's just kind of more out of the way, and that's what the goggles boot up to. And they wanted a default channel that was within that ISM band so that you don't need a ham license to be operating the system when you first get it like that and it's booting up on that default channel. So that's why I think they're ordered the way they are. That, of course, this is all just completely my speculation, but it makes some sense to me that things are ordered this way for the reasons that I just mentioned. So there's just one other comment I'd like to make, and that is that I believe that the Shark Byte system might be using slightly wider channels than the DJI system. And the reason I say that is back in 2019, when I was having that little bit of a back and forth conversation with Fat Shark on RC Groups, they mentioned their Frostbite system, which again was sort of the precursor to the Shark Byte system, was using 27 megahertz wide channels. And I assume that's still the case, but I don't really know, and I won't know for sure until somebody can post some spectrum analysis of the system, which I'd love to see, and if you've got that, let me know. And that the DJI system is using, at least according to their manual, and I think it's been somewhat confirmed from spectrum analysis as well, they're using 20 megahertz wide channels. So even though if you look at the chart, let's bring that up again, these gray boxes are representing roughly 20 megahertz wide channels. You have to remember that the Fat Shark system's going to be just a little bit wider than that, 7 megahertz wider than that. So this chart is not super accurate, but it was never meant to be super accurate anyways, because these are RF signals and they're noisy, and the chips that create these signals are not perfectly contained within these boxes. There's some bleed over for sure over the ends of those boxes, especially with the analog stuff. The digital things are quite a bit better. They do have a much sharper fall off, I believe, if you look at them in the spectrum analysis, but they still don't stop exactly right on where that line is. And so this is really just a guide to help you understand approximately where these signals are relative to each other. So anyway, there you have it. All I really did to change this chart is put the word Fat Shark Shark Byte alongside the DJI FPV 25 megabit line, and now it's been updated to include the Shark Byte system. So I just wanted to make a new video and make a new chart, putting that little bit out there to help signify that yes, these two digital HD FPV systems are in fact using the exact same channels and the exact same ordering, using the exact same frequencies and everything. Now, of course, this is only comparing the DJI in the 25 megabits per second mode. On the 50 megabits per second mode, which most people are probably using anyway, the channels are completely different. But if the two systems are flying together, just remember how that all works. And if you're flying with other people with the DJI system, you're probably going to have to fly in the 25 megabit per second mode anyway, so that you're not stomping on such a huge range of the frequency. But I'm curious what you guys all think about this. Is this the right decision for Fat Shark to make, to have the Shark Byte system using the exact same channels? Or do you think they should have been aligned exactly with Raceband instead? I'd be curious to know what your thoughts are, and definitely leave me some comments down in the comment section on YouTube. And then I'll put a link down there for the updated chart so you can download and print that out if you want, and hopefully I'll also make a PDF of it and make like a 8.5 by 11 easily printed version. So anyway, that's all I got to say, and thanks for watching. Oh, one more quick thing before I go. If you like that little tagline / logo thing I put at the end of my videos that says change your view, fly FPV, and if you get the double meaning of it, even better. But if you like that and want to have it on a t-shirt, don't forget that you can get one, just like the one I'm wearing right now. And you can also support the FPV Freedom Coalition in the process. To do that, just head over to the FPVFC's website and their store, so fpvfc.org/store, and pick one out for yourself.